Good morning, you beautiful people, and welcome to Classified 101. In this episode, I'm going to be teaching you how to complete the main Easter egg quest. The first step you're going to want to do is simply get to round 150. Easiest video I've ever made. Good morning, you beautiful people. Jokes aside, I hope you're having a wonderful day today. Today, I want to talk about the classified Easter egg cutscene. First of all, I was wrong. There is an end cutscene. I was wrong. I'll fully admit it. That's okay, and I'm happy that I'm wrong because this is fantastic, and it's even better than what I thought it was going to be. There's a lot of stuff to be said, specifically around the meta of this cutscene, about the game and its instability, and I would highly recommend going and checking out Mr. Raffle's video. You guys have probably already seen it by now. I sympathize with a lot of the statements that he says in there. I'm going to be making my own video about the instability of Black Ops 4, maybe, but I want to keep this positive right now. So let's talk about the actual cutscene and the actual way we get it. First things first, getting to round 150. Making a high round the one and only prerequisite is genius, and I absolutely love it. For so long in the community, there has been this divide between high rounders and Easter egg guys, and a lot of the press, a lot of the hype behind a zombies map was all about the Easter egg quests and the ending cutscene. We were driving ourselves mad about Classified because we were looking for a cutscene, but nobody was really excited for high rounds. Well, there was that high round community, but just that high round community was excited about the high rounds, and then just the Easter egg community was excited about the Easter eggs. This is the perfect marriage between the two. Once a leak came out saying that it was on round 255 you had to get to, then you had all these Easter egg guys going for high rounds, learning these strategies, crossing the bridge over to the high round community. This was brilliant. This is fantastic. But now I want to say instability really did make this take a lot longer than it should have. If we had a stable product at October when this thing was released, I believe this would have been the first Easter egg quest we would have found. I think 9 took like 4 days, but I remember distinctly maybe a day or two after the game was released, I think I saw a Sulky video get a world record on round 114. He had 2 lives left, and then he blue screened, which is hugely unfortunate. But could you imagine? We're sitting here on the hype of the launch night. We haven't found anything with 9, we haven't found anything with Blood, we haven't found anything with Voyage, and then all of a sudden this YouTuber from the high round community gets to round 255, 150, whatever they wanted it to be, and just boom, we have this cutscene. Like, this is amazing. This shows that Treyarch is thoughtful. This shows that Treyarch cares and listens to the high round community. This is like a huge gift to the high round community, saying you guys are important too. This is an important part of the game to us. Here is your reward. And what a fine reward it is. Now, unfortunately, the game is very, very unstable, and you can only get there through glitches or luck, and it's just really, really just tragic. That's the best word to describe it. It's tragic because it should have gone to Frenzy. It should have gone to Sulky. It should have gone to 5 and 5. It should have gone to that random guy just playing Classified like 5. It should have gone to one of those high round zombie community players. But again, I want to stay positive here, just thinking about the actual mechanics of what could have been and what will hopefully eventually be a stable game. This is beautiful, and I really hope they have more of these Easter eggs. And maybe not, huge main storyline and cutscenes, but maybe bonus cutscenes, maybe extra stuff that are unlocked, like Setsubo no Shima on round 50, a distant monster Easter egg, just some cool Easter egg that you get once you've gone 150, 255 rounds. The last thing I'll say, I think 255 and 150 is a little too steep. That's probably like 12 hours of game time, which is a lot. It's a lot. Granted, zombie high rounders are literally insane. They are crazy with the amount of time that they spend just grinding. They are amazing. They're insane, and I think that's an adequate reward. But I think maybe a little bit more of an achievable way, and maybe even more an iconic round would have been round 115. It just makes sense. Element 115, 115, and there's this huge YouTube video. Everybody knew Syndicate back in Kino round 115. Like, it's a beautiful number, and this whole Easter egg quest is a throwback to the old World at War days of you fight zombie Hitler around 50, around 100. It's just beautiful Easter egg. I think 115 would have been a little bit better, but I love this Easter egg either way. Moving on to the actual cutscene, however, this is our first ever Ultimus cutscene, and it's a little disappointing, to be honest. Now, let's start with the positives. We see our Ultimus characters in a jail cell in Hangar 4, like we thought we were always going to see. They have a little bit of banter, really good banter. Then Primus comes in, and Primus Nikolai is like, we're off to fight a war unlike you've ever seen before, and it's the Great War. And then they all presumably go off and do whatever. This is exciting. This is probably the best place the zombies story has been pretty much since Black Ops 1. I mean, Black Ops 2 we got really confusing. Black Ops 3 was really, really confusing. This is the most direct and purposeful storytelling that we've seen so far in zombies. We have the post-Moon Ultimus from, after Black Ops 1, after Black Ops 2. We have Undead Richtofen back as his own body. So all of those loose ends are tied up. Even with Classified, we see our pre-Moon characters. That's just a little blip on the map. That's nothing. So they're going to continue on and then eventually wind up in the hangar there on Hangar 4, right? And then our Primus characters, I'm going to say they're after Blood of the Dead because that makes the most sense to me. After Blood of the Dead, Nikolai's leading the group. They all kind of understand where they're going to go. I think Primus Richtofen and Primus Nikolai both kind of understand the war they're about to fight. They know what's going to happen, and I really, really like that. People are saying that Richtofen's a little too quiet in this cutscene, Primus Richtofen, and I don't really get that. I think he's letting Nikolai take lead because it's kind of Nikolai's time to shine with his soul and everything. So that's not a big bother to me. But we have all of our characters. This is as far up on the timeline as we have ever gotten. We have one goal, and that is to stop Dr. Monty and the Apothicons. This is a grand finale. This is getting all of our characters. This is getting everyone wrapped up, except for the transit characters. But, details. This is getting ready for that great war. Over this next DLC season, I agree with Lex. I think we're going to be getting the staff pieces. People are going to die. We're going to start trading off characters. And finally, Primus will fail and Ultimus will prevail. And there we are. That is the wrap of the Aether storyline. This marks the beginning of that ending to me, and I am so incredibly excited. However, this does feel sort of like an awkward ending cutscene. If you've seen it, the first time I saw it was by the Gaming Revolution, and he was in cartoon mode, so just the animations looked weird. But then a couple days ago, a day ago, I don't know, Noah completed it, not cartoon mode, and it looked so much better, so much more polished and everything. But just some of the dialogue is a little weird, I like the starting off the banter between Ultimus Dempsey and Ultimus Richtofen. But the weirdness comes when Primus gets there, Ultimus Nikolai says something about vodka, and then Primus Nikolai comes through the portal, and he's like, is that your plan, Nikolai? You're just going to drink yourself to the whatever. And the weird part is, Nikolai doesn't say anything back. That's out of character, especially with the ending of Gord Krovy that we saw. Ultimus Nikolai speaks his mind. He has no filter, so for him to get kind of challenged by another version of himself, being like, is that your plan, Nikolai? Is that really what you're going to do? And then they don't say anything. It's just awkward. I felt like there should have been at least one more line there just to banter back, just to challenge that Nikolai back, And I thought the exchange between Ultimus and Primus Richtofen was a little bit weird. Ultimus Richtofen was like, oh, it's you or whatever. And that's it, which is weird because you got to remember, this is undead Richtofen in regular Richtofen's body now. Like, he's worked with this Primus Richtofen before, and they're both gone a long way, so surely a little exchange of dialogue there should have been needed, I guess, to kind of establish where these characters are coming from, because they have a history. They have seen each other. They've worked together before, so I would have liked to see a little bit more interaction between those two. I am very happy. That's been mainly my criticism of the cutscene, is just those two little moments felt a little bit disingenuous to me. I really, really, really loved Ultimus Dempsey, though, just questioning everything. He was really he felt the most like his character in this cutscene, and especially the end. He's like, war. What do you mean? What kind of war? Whatever. He really just He feels like Dempsey, and I was really happy about that. And so this cutscene, in my opinion, gets better the more you watch it. It feels weird at first, but the more you think about it, the more you dissect what's actually going to transfer after this cutscene. Oh boys, we are in for a good season. And so those are my thoughts. I have a lot more thoughts about the instability of the game and my experience with it, and just how the zombies community is doing right now. It all feels tragic, especially that, as far as I know, no one's legitimately ever gotten to this before. There might have been actually one person on the Reddit actually that might have legitimately gotten to this. That could be it. That could be it. I don't know, but it just kind of breaks my heart a little bit, you know, that it had to go down in this really particular way, and it is really heartbreaking and tragic. But when you look at the actual mechanics of this cutscene, it's beautiful. It's fantastic. How you get it and what's inside of it, it's exciting and it's fantastic. But it was kind of tainted by the instability of the game, which is kind of a really good representation of Black Ops 4 as a whole. A beautiful, beautiful mess. But anyway, tell me your guys' thoughts. Tell me your guys' thoughts, not about the instability, not about that stuff. Focus on the positives this time. Do you like the fact that you have to get to around 150? Do you like the fact that, you know, Ultimus and Primus are together now and they're going to go off to fight the Great War? What do you think is going to come next? Tell me your thoughts about the cutscene and the ability to get to around 150 to unlock the cutscene. Tell me your thoughts in the comment section below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Until the next absolutely beautiful Zombies morning, I'll catch up with you guys later. And as always, stay beautiful.